Welcome, NoDQ Galaxy, back to a brand new edition of the NoDQ Review, number 132. And I am Virtue, being joined by the elite panel of NoDQ. And this week, we got 5 people here, and it's myself, Aaron Rift, as always, Big G. The West Coast professor, Jeff Meacham, is back, and joining us once again, Jerry Slaughter. What's up, General?
All right. What's up to you guys?
Hey, man, we're here ready to talk some pro wrestling for the next hour. Dude, what's up, man? I haven't seen you in a while on here, but welcome back. Anything going on in your world?
Mostly work, man, but like wrestling's been crazy lately, and I've been telling Aaron I want to be back on the show, so I finally got myself a day off, so here I am.
All right, and we'll come back to you. You know how this operates here. We got 5 of us. 5 of us. Big G, what's up, man?
Hey, I'm doing good. Getting ready to watch Justice League here after we get this show done, so getting prepped for that.
It's like, what, 5 or 6 hours long?
4 hours.
I think I'm going to split it up into like 2 days or whatever, but I'm ready to get this ball rolling as usual. All
right, and we'll get back to you. Hey, Jeff, what's up? You're back, man. What's going on?
It's been a busy day for good old JM. I did my my stream this morning when we heard the news about our main event topic tonight, and did a post-game show with Greg Cherry, taped the episode of Dads, and I'm back on the NoDQ Review. It's a good day in the life of Jeff Meacham. I'm happy, man.
All right, well, it's good to have you back. And, of course, Aaron Rift, who wants to always start on time, but when we try to do 5, we always have a problem. But we're on. We made it. So what? We were a few minutes late. What's up?
Yeah, better late than never. I was worried that we were going to have technical issues that would prevent us from going live, but we are here. We're all ready to go. I'm excited. A lot of interesting topics this week. We had some breaking news earlier today, which I know good old JF Jeff Meacham very, very excited about. Psycho Jet Black already sent in a $2 super chat. He says, Jerry, are you related to Sergeant Slaughter?
Are you?
I guess that's a yes.
Bueller.
All right. So, yes, Jerry Slaughter is related to Sergeant Slaughter. Somehow, some way, they are blood related, I guess.
Why do you think the beard's there? It's hiding the chin.
Oh, nice one.
No, it's extremely weak. I didn't get that.
Oh, it's going to be a long hour.
Until we start getting the super chats and trivia questions for Big G or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. Well, seriously, though, they're not related. And yeah, last week was crazy with all the super chats, people asking Big G trivia questions. That was fun. We'll see if we get a repeat this week. We'll see if Jerry Slaughter and Jeff can get stumped as far as some of these classic wrestling lines go. But anyways, enough of that.
Yeah.
Let's try to stick to the topic, though. So if you guys want to play that game, let's wait till the end of the video.
Hey, just a quick question. If somebody's monitoring on Facebook, can we get that guy blocked on Facebook? That'd be super. Thanks. Anyway, right along. Here we go.
Oh, Paul Sawyer, who says, when does the butt effing start? Right now.
Come on. Yeah.
Let's go, Virtue.
Right now.
You know what I think of trolls. I mean, they're a bunch of losers on that Facebook page. Anyways, let's start hot heavy with AEW. Oh my God, it was the grandest match in the history of professional wrestling last night because it happened in the main event of AEW Dynamite, and it featured 2 women, Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa. Now, let me get this off my chest. It was a very good match. It was a great match. These women, Britt bled. They get slammed off the top rope into thumbtacks, you name it. But let's be honest, what boundaries were broke other than AEW finally let the women main event Dynamite? WWE has done this boundary breaking for years, go all the way back to China, and even, of course, the 4 horsewomen, and who main evented WrestleMania. So let's temper our expectations just because it was AEW. And I see, this is such a ploy to be like a Dave Meltzer ploy. I saw a Fightful Sean Ross Sapp with all these candid photos. Let's really open up the curtain and let people behind the scenes. Look, this was a very good match, but I saw the overhype, and it was, instead of getting natural praise, I felt this was orchestrated to get praise. I know wrestling is work, right, Jeff? But to ask for praise and demand praise, that's what I felt. And I think it's taken away from some of this. And look what the ratings were. Under 800,000 again. who is AEW appealing to? Jeff Meacham, I'm going to go to you because I don't want to make people think that I'm crapping on this match. It was a very damn good match. This praise, the way they've immediately had shirts made and everything, and I just see right through this stuff. AEW is a begging, and I want to see what Meltzer's going to rate this match compared to all the other women matches that he's rated. I think 4.75 might be the highest he's rated a women's match. I mean, what do you think here? Like, this to me is just begging for praise. I got that feeling.
Aaron, was that a confirmation? Did Meltzer already rate it or no?
No, but I'm taking a wild guess because the parking lot brawl got 5 stars from Mr. Meltzer, and I think this was a better match than that. I'd give it a better rating than the parking lot brawl.
For sure. And I agree with that sentiment. I've said this for years, and I'll say it until I'm, green in the face, because blue in the face is the cliche. If Bret Hart doesn't give Dave Meltzer the big scoop about Montreal, nobody gives a shit about Dave Meltzer right now. I'm telling you that. I say it and I mean it. The match was very, very good. It was probably the best women's match AEW's had. Yep. I'm not even gonna go, below that. It was a damn good presentation. Both women worked very hard, and you're right. Women using thumbtacks, you don't see that in any company. It's unless you're in like the mega, like the hardcore companies, right? I get that, but the fact that once again, remember, Tony Schiavone's the hype machine. Tony Khan's the overhype machine. Both those guys just have to freaking say it's the greatest night in the history of our grand sport. For years, Schiavone's done that. Tony Khan has latched onto that and taken it to, infinity and beyond, right? It was a great match, guys, but it was not the best match AEW's had. I don't even think it's a 5-star match on my whatever scale you want to give for me. Meltzer scale, he's going to give it 5 because, like you said, Aaron, he gave the parking lot brawl 5. So it's got to be at least that. And I don't understand why people want to give Big Bad Dave so much credibility. Like, why is it a thing still in 2021? It irritates the living crap out of me. It really does.
Well, because he knows more about wrestling than all 5 of us combined.
Okay.
Reading would be your friend, Jeff Meacham.
In his opinion.
Yeah.
Do you read The Observer, bro?
Yeah, because I want to give Meltzer money on purpose. Give me a break.
All right, cool down for a minute, Jeff. Me and you have to cool down. Let's go over to Jerry. I'm interested to hear his thoughts on this.
Jerry's the calm one.
And like I said, WWE really put the women to the forefront in terms of main event. And yes, I know they didn't bleed. I know they had what was that match at her Survivor Series or whatever? Ronda, Charlotte, and there was a lot of kendo stick hitting and going on. Right. But WWE doesn't allow blood and stuff. So, are we to believe just because Britt could blade and get thumbtack stuck in her, now all of a sudden, and it's AEW, we just got to see that fan base explode. Be happy, say it was great, but it's not necessarily the fans. It's the pictures that were already ready to go, the T-shirts. It's like AEW is fabricating in the Meltzer bubble of that fan base of, hey, this is the best thing ever of all time. I just don't feel it as genuine as it could have been. Things, I don't know, but that's the internet. That's the internet.
Well, but Virtue, Aaron was with me in Survivor Series when Ronda faced Charlotte, and I'll never forget. I sat right next to him. The thing I'll remember most, it wasn't the fact that it was the weapons being used and the brutality of it. I looked at Aaron when they turned on Ronda in her hometown. I looked at Aaron and I said, Aaron, she's gone by Mania. Mark my words. And sure stuff, she made Mania, and off she went into the sunset.
But they main evented
that match, not the 5-star Meltzer bullshit. It was
Jerry,
Ronda got him.
What do you think of this?
Well, I think the AEW women's roster has been thoroughly underused or just badly used since the inception of the company. So, but it's stacked. It's a great roster. If anything is going to push it more towards the forefront, was it a 5-star match? Not really. They had really great aspects to it, but I've watched a lot of hardcore wrestling over the years. I've seen Combat Zone Wrestling, Sandy Pro Wrestling, all the stuff in Japan, Germany, all these other places. And they've really amped up the violence, but women are looking for equality in wrestling and everything at this point. And for them to do a match that pretty much the same guys do, we shouldn't really be expecting to, be like, okay, this is so much more important. Guys get to put through thumbtacks and everything else. And it was a great match, but at the same time, I wouldn't say it was 5-star. but it's definitely going to put some eyes finally on the AEW women's roster and hopefully push them further ahead.
Yeah, and someone's like, "Hey, Virtue, it's because people are yearning for something different." What's different? What's different? Women bleeding? It's happened before.
Yeah.
It's because it's AEW, so therefore, this has to be the greatest thing. Fan base wants AEW.
I'm with you in the fact that it feels kind of forced and fabricated too, for the fact that they overhyped it. If they hadn't overhyped it and hadn't made T-shirts, hadn't pegged it out to be great,
or waited a week or two at least.
Yeah, would have felt less forced and less choreographed, if anything, and that's what ended up being, and that's kind of took away some of the magic of the match for me.
Yeah, and report card radio women, we never see, or Virtue, we never see women bleed so much on camera. Again, they want something. They hate. It's that fan base hates WWE, so therefore everything AEW does is great. Now.
Oh yeah,
I'm on record saying I love the first 3 months of AEW, and there's still some things that they've done along the way that I like. But if that's bad, if something's crappy, I'm going to say it. Now, this match was great. It does, but this overhype, just watch your shows, talk about it. But when I start seeing dirt sheets and websites, and I know Aaron covers the news and stuff, but they're in on it, Tony Khan messaged them and said, Sean Ross Sapp put all these pictures out, all these candid photos, and then other sites will pick them up. It's come on, man, just settle down. Big G, what do you think about this? You're sitting over there. You're just happy to be here. I need to stop talking for a minute. Yeah, you go and then pass it over to Aaron.
Yeah, it was a great match. I liked it from start to finish. It was a slow start, and then they picked it up towards the middle, and the thumbtacks and whatnot. But then after the match, everybody on social media was hyping it up. I think this morning I had watched the video they shot backstage of them hugging each other, or Sheeta was hugging, I think, Thunder, and Britt was back there. And to be honest, these two women are my favorite two wrestlers in AEW right now. You have Sheeta as the women's champ, but the language barrier there kind of doesn't do it for me. Britt Baker, she says she should be the face of the women's division, and she's rightfully so. And that's not because she's a Steelers fan like me, but she's proven it, through and through. And ever since Thunder Rosa came on the scene, I had never seen her before. I know she was in NWA, and she's really caught my eye as well. But yeah, really, why do people have to rate these matches with 5 stars? Sit back, enjoy the match, critique. Yeah, they get paid for it. Big freaking whoop-de-doo, but just sit back, enjoy the match, and critique it. If you have something bad to say about it, say something bad about it. If you have something good about it, say something good about it. But other than that, it's a great match. Hopefully this will open the door for, more women in AEW to take it to a higher standard, and we'll go from there.
Thank you, Big G. So Aaron, back in the Attitude Era, the early 2000s, heck, the mid 2000s, I remember just watching the shows for the shows, and you watch the matches, and every now and again you'd say, wow, that was a pretty good match, but we were never focused on, oh my God, best match ever. But now we're in that culture. What do you think about this, man?
I think for me, it's my job, so that's why I do it. For everybody else, I'm just enjoy the show. If you like it, cool. If you don't, then just keep it to yourself. But everybody wants to be a critic now. That's the thing with Twitter and everything, and just in life in general, not just wrestling. Everybody wants to say their piece and have their voice heard. And yeah, they pick apart every single thing out there. Now, of course, like I said, it's my job, and you're all here with me, and we're doing this. TJS sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, TJS. He says, maybe it's being praised so highly since the AEW women's matches of the past have set the bar so low. I liked it, but what they do next is important. Jeff?
First of all, Tyler, it was not better than Omega versus Moxley. People crap on that match so much. Other than the sparkler finish, the botch finish, that was a damn good pay-per-view main event. Get over that. Cry my knee.
Well, I think he was saying of the women's matches in AEW.
Yeah, the women's matches.
What he said earlier was, Aaron, put it up. It's up there. Put it up. It was better than Omega versus Moxley. No, it wasn't.
Oh, he did say that. I missed that. Okay.
It was not better than Omega. I'm sorry, it wasn't. Other than the botched Sparkler finish, Omega versus Moxley was a damn good show finisher. It just happened to be the Sparklers ruined everything in people's eyes. I don't think so. As far as the women's matches bar being set low, so I think Report Radio said earlier, there's 4 name brand women in AEW. You've got Nyla, you've got Britt, you've got Thunder Rosa now, who's going back to NWA this Sunday. And I can't, off the top of my head, I can't the 4th person. It should be the champion, but it's not. I couldn't name 2/3 of the people in that tournament. Couldn't off the top of my head. Couldn't. That's the problem with the division.
Yeah, good point. I had to get that out of the way early because,
I have a quick question though about this subject though. Where does it what's the next step for the AEW women at this point? Because Tony Khan will do intergender matches. He's already made comments about how he doesn't want to have intergender matches. Where do you go from here after an unsanctioned match like that?
Well, first of all, I think they should take some time off, at least a couple of weeks, to sell the impact of the match. But then again, nobody else really does. So will not surprise me if they're both back on TV next week, all fine and dandy. But that's a whole other topic. We do have a $2 super chat from Psycho Jet Black. He says, Brian Alvarez is way more annoying than Dave Meltzer. Well, I have no comment on that one.
They're a tandem.
I was going to say, Brian was so good to us in the old days on being on the show. He was on the show with us twice. He was so cool with us.
Fun fact that probably nobody knows, but the first person Brian ever interviewed for his newsletter was my dad.
Yep.
That is 100% truth there. So can't hate the guy.
We had an old one of our old audio podcasts, the same show, Mean Gene Okerlund and Brian Alvarez, both of them professional as hell and nice as hell. So
yeah, and
I got no problem with that whatsoever.
Just to rehash what I already said the other night, I thought the match was great, best AEW women's match to date. I don't think it was the best women's match of the past 10 years, but it was probably top 5 for me. And what I really liked about the match was the physicality level. They were able to go out there and do the kind of match that the guys have. They showed that they're capable of doing it. They had the expectations of being in the main event spot and people wanting to see them deliver. And I thought they did in that regard. Now, time will tell. Will AEW follow up on it? Will Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa become bigger stars out of this? They should, but that remains to be seen. That will really put Tony Khan to the test. If he is indeed the best booker in wrestling, a year from now, Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker will be major superstars. But will they be major superstars, or will they be in the same exact spot they're in right now? That remains.
Here's the issue with Thunder Rosa, Aaron. She has a match on Sunday against Camille in the NWA. Camille's been like the buzz woman in the NWA since they started back up. I don't see her losing to Thunder Rosa on Sunday. So Thunder Rosa's stock could be tanked by the NWA booking. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, well, you know what they say, if a tree falls in the woods and nobody hears it, doesn't make a sound.
Oh, okay, all right.
Good point, Aaron. All right, let's move on.
I got
is
you.
An interesting topic here. I used to defend Rusev in WWE. Like, why did Vince McMahon fail this guy twice as a main eventer? He came over to AEW as Miro, and we know that he really hasn't been pushed in the main event. He's kind of taking it easy in this gimmick with Penelope Ford and Kip Sabian, and it doesn't feel very main eventish to me, but he's calling out Jim Cornette on social media. Boy, could you imagine wrestlers of the past, heels, just doing this kind of thing? Jim Cornette had a field day, and boy, did he make him look silly. I'm interested to see if Tony Khan will tell his people to settle down and ignore Cornette, or if this will continue, because it just doesn't seem very professional unless Cornette's working. They're all working together, and Cornette's going to show up on camera. Oh, wait, never. But Big G, what do you think here? Was Vince McMahon right all along? Is Rusev not a main eventer when he acts like this?
He could have been if he was booked right. Like,
sorry, Miro.
Miro, yes. I mean, back in WWE, if he was booked right, when especially his first run with the U.S. title and then lost to Cena at WrestleMania, I think he could have, if he didn't had lost there, I think he could have gone to at least one world title run. But now that he's in AEW, you know, he's just been booked as Kip Sabian's sidekick, and he needs to move away from that.
And he doesn't look like a tough guy when he's crying on Twitter to Jim Cornette. That's my point.
And I read that whole conversation between them and what was going on. I was just like, if this is a work, okay, that's fine. But if this is like real life crap, don't. I mean, I know a lot of people air their stuff on social media nowadays, but don't do that. I mean, that's personal. You need to keep work with work and personal with personal, and not mix the two. But Jim Cornette, from what I've heard, he seems like a complete douchebag, and that's that.
And that means he's a gimmick. So, you know, somebody called him a bigot in the chat, and you just called him a douchebag. Jim Cornette is one of the greatest heels of all time because he's still doing it. He knows how to push people's buttons, and that is amazing work. And I don't care what you think of me because of that. Aaron, I'm going to go over you now on this topic because there's some super chats.
Okay, yeah, I was trying to get the super chats in before we really dived into this because now we're backtracking, but it's all good. Mike D sent in a $5 super chat, says, Sasha versus Bayley TakeOver Brooklyn was the best women's match I've ever seen. I would agree with that. I was thinking of the matches off the top of my head. That would be my number one to this day, that TakeOver Brooklyn in 2015.
Yeah.
And I think everyone would agree.
I still put Trish and Mickey in my top 5 from WrestleMania.
Fair enough.
That was a damn good match, too.
I agree. Definitely the best of its era, or one of the best of its era.
Yep.
And Power Packers 90 sent in a $2 super chat, says, Ito, Britt, and Rosa are going to be stars soon. I hope so.
Stars.
Like the majority have been saying for a while, if Britt Baker's not the AEW Women's Champion by the end of 2021, there's something wrong in Tony's head. I'm saying it. She should be the champion.
I mean, I liked Britt from day one, and I was a fan of Thunder Rosa in the NWA, and I was like, I hope AEW or WWE pick her up, and because of the whole pandemic, she got into AEW, and I hope there's bigger days ahead for both of them. But anyways, let's get to the Miro topic here. We've talked enough about that first topic. We went like 15 minutes on that one. We're going to be going like 2 hours at this point.
Did you do all the super chats, Aaron?
Yeah,
there was one from Josh Mansfield about this topic.
Oh yeah, let me throw that up now. Josh Mansfield, thank you, Josh, and thank you everyone for your super chats. And I apologize if we delay in getting to them, but it's tough waters when we got 5 people here to navigate through everything. He says Tony Khan is just a kid playing with his action figures for too long until his dad finally says no. Also, how is corny even relevant anymore?
Because you Twitter idiots make him relevant still. Because you argue back with him.
Cornette, I say this about Cornette, Ryback, Val Venus, like they know how to play the game. They know how to get in the headlines. They know if they say something controversial, NoDQ and all the other wrestling sites will pick up the comments because I want traffic. And when Cornette says something outlandish, brings me site traffic. Cornette knows what to do to keep his name in the headlines. Yeah. And as far as who's coming out looking better in this, I think they both come off looking childish. And Cornette, he's a troll. He's trolling Miro. And Miro took the bait. Cornette responded, and Miro's been quiet the last couple of days. So maybe Tony Khan finally smartened him up, or somebody did, and said, hey, you know what? You're just giving Cornette the attention he wants. You need to just drop it. But yeah, I was hoping I'd love to hear Miro and Cornette on the air together at the same time. I would tune in. I would pay money for that if that happened. But yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
All right, over to you, Jerry. Thoughts on this topic? And if Cornette is childish, boy, I would not want a child acting like that. Woo.
I don't see Cornette as childish. I just see him as crazy. Seriously, like like back in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, back when I first was watching the guy, I'm like, this dude's out of his mind. But like you said, he knows exactly what to say to get under people's skin and what to cause controversy and everything. So the whole thing with him and Miro is acting a fool at this point because he's going against a guy who's got like 40 years of experience with pissing people off. So
yeah, for real.
At this point, yeah, Miro is not really ready for a main event push. If he's going to fold this quickly over the comments about Penelope Ford or anything else at this point, like that's just gonna be bad press along the way because somebody's gonna say somebody else is gonna set them off, and that's only gonna make AEW look even worse. So
Yeah.
Cornette's just out of his mind.
Yeah, he is. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. He says, Ryback versus Val Venus in a political debate. What about
Why would you put
Cornette
that out
versus
there?
Val Venus?
Why would you put it out there in the universe, Psycho Jet Black? What is wrong with you? Goodness
He
sakes.
wants fireworks. He wants controversy.
Yeah, clearly.
That would
Because
be
it creates
entertaining.
cash. That's right. There you go. See?
Yeah.
There you go.
Over to you, Jeff Meacham. We'll close this topic up with you.
Okay, so I'm gonna appeal to Aaron's sensibilities on my retort for this. Nightmare on Elm Street, the original movie, 1984. How did they defeat Freddy at the end? Even though he at the very, very end he actually came back and got the car or whatever. How did they defeat him? They turned their back on him and they ignored him. If you turn your back on the villain and don't give him any attention, he'll go away. The fact that you not only take because Jason's psycho and he has a mommy complex and it's okay. We're all right with that.
And Michael Myers.
Hey, don't be shitting on Michael.
Okay.
Anyway, the point is, people took the bait from Corny for saying something, but what's great is they didn't focus on Cornette picking on Miro. Oh, well, Cornette likes to watch people F his wife. It's like, okay, we know that already by Jim Cornette. Why is that your argument? Why are you going down here below him in the gutter? Why are you doing that? Like, that just feeds Cornette's BS. I tell you guys, Aaron and I have learned this doing this last 18 years. If you turn your back on a bully and ignore the bully, eventually they'll go away.
That's not always the case, Jeff. Well, I guess kind of.
Or they'll get punched in the back of the head.
Exactly.
Some people you have to ignore them for like 5 years almost for them to finally get the memo.
Sometimes. Well, but you know what? The thing, somebody asked me, why is Cornette relevant? Because Twitter makes Cornette relevant. It's really that simple.
Well, we'll move on. Great discussion.
Greg Cherry shirt is so.
Aaron, I know how to moderate. I'm going to pass it to you for super chats. We're going to move on. Tito loves Jim Cornette as much as I do, so we have something in common there. Aaron.
All right. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. He says, Michael Myers cuts better promos than Ricochet.
In Rob Zombie Part 2, you're right, he does.
Well, there you go. Michael Myers breathing is a better promo than Ricochet. The heavy breathing.
Right. Director's cut of Part 2, baby. Die! That's all you need to say.
Exactly. Sticky B with a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, did y'all hear what Jim Cornette's co-host said in response? He made a lot of good points about the EVPs of AEW. Jeff?
That's because he hasn't lost his damn mind like Jim has. He's actually a logical, rational human being.
This is
who's
Brian.
not stuck in the 70s.
It's Brian last.
Last, same difference.
Was that a Freudian slip there?
No, I said what I said.
Yeah.
He actually makes the good points because Jim Cornette's allowed to be the one to go off the deep end because that's Jim Cornette's personality since he's been in the business. You know, the co-host reins him in. It sounds really familiar to my old days. Anyway, there you go. Carry on.
All right. Well, we're moving on here. We don't have too many topics today, so we're at a nice clip. This one will probably be a quick one, but like the New Day, they're the tag team champions again. Like, let's make them the greatest of all time by putting the titles on them over and over again. Now, of course, Big E's on SmackDown, so it's, a smaller version of New Day with just Kofi and Xavier Woods. But it's time, man. Like, these guys, like, they need to break them up. There should be no more New Day music. Do something different with these two guys. I mean, obviously, they're trying that with Big E over on SmackDown, not even on the same roster. But, this is kind of an old topic. It's the old day. But what's going to happen after Mania? I hope they drop the titles and they disappear now. But we know this is Vince's baby. Jerry?
The only reason that the New Day probably won the belts is the fact that chances are Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin are probably going to be put in matches, almost like gauntlet-type matches against Drew McIntyre at this point. The only reason, the New Day have the belts is the fact that the tag divisions or the tag belts in general are still looked down upon in the WWE. There is no tag division. There's really no relevance to the belts. But they need something to do for the build for Lashley and McIntyre. So toss the belts onto a New Day. Nobody's really going to care about it. And then just let Shelton and Cedric shine against Drew McIntyre. Probably get some probably get some good shine off with him.
Jerry, do you think that they'll ever break the New Day up? I mean, even when Kofi was the WWE champion, it was the New Day. You know what I mean?
I was hoping it was actually going to be more of a heel breakup and have Big E just Hulk out on the group, but then just to have him move off, and now they're not really doing anything with him, and then Kofi's career completely flattened out after his 8-second squash with Lesnar, and Xavier Woods, he's never really been relevant. Sorry, but it's one of those
He's a good
situations.
sidekick type of guy. Like I
I
admit,
was about to say, last time he was relevant, it was like when Amazing Red gave him a DDT, and he puked in the ring in TNA.
But I will admit the New Day gimmick has held Big E back, and it's making it maybe hard for him now. Big G, what do you think here? I mean, I know we've talked about this before, but like literally now we have to call them the old day. I mean, literally.
Yeah, I mean, they've been around, I think, since 2015 now. So it's been a long time. And, like you said, it's Vince's baby, and it's making him money. The merch is still selling like crazy. And Jerry had a good point, too, where, I think Sheldon and Cedric are gonna have do something with Lashley now and Drew McIntyre to focus on that feud. And there is no tag division in the WWE. They just need to unify the titles and have whatever tag teams you have left together and try to salvage something out of that, because we know Vince doesn't like tag teams as of this moment. He's in one of his little phases where he doesn't like something, so he'll put it in the corner and time out and play with his new shiny toy. But yeah, the New Day, it's whatever. Let them be like 20-time tag team champs. So
call them 10 times. What's the record, Jeff? Mitchum, tag team WWE
number of reigns. It's them 11.
Oh
yeah. They beat Dudley Boys,
so they're over
they?
10, right? So yeah, 20. 20 is the number now, Big G. You're right. Jeff Meacham. There's going to be a reunion at some point with Big E down the road, isn't there? That's why they split him up on brands. Right. What do you think here?
So, Aaron, I officially came back to NoDQ in 2014 doing the 4-part RVD interview, right?
Yeah.
We were saying a year after that, okay, when are they going to break up? That was 6 years ago, guys. Like, it hasn't happened. It's not going to happen. They're going to be the New Day until one of them gets permanently retirement crippled, or they just say, okay, we're done with this. This is too stupid for words now at this point. So I am so mad at them for doing that, because bottom line, my son was a adamant Kofi Kingston fan, and the New Day act turned him to Baron Corbin. That's all I have to say.
Jeff, remember they were babies at the beginning and it didn't work out and Vince turned them heel and then people loved it. And then when they became baby faces, it was about the merch and the pancakes.
Yep.
Vince McMahon, he's going to push them till they die because of that. Well, it worked so charmingly for that. That's how it worked with The Rock. He couldn't get over his Rocky Maivia, and then we all know how that happened.
Right. Well, with Big E, at least, I have to give them credit for Big E on SmackDown. I'll tell you why. He's doing the same thing with his career on SmackDown that The Miz did on SmackDown. Talking smack is his baby, man. He goes on there, and Paul gets up in his business, and he motivates Big E, and he motivates Apollo, and that's why this match is happening Sunday, because Paul Heyman is up in both their faces, like, you can do better than what you're doing, and dude, Paul Heyman is such a freaking jewel. I can't even put him over enough. I swear to God. But yeah, Big E has the potential. In my opinion, they freaking made a goof out of him. He was the biggest goof of the three of them for the longest time. If he stays the course, win or lose Sunday, he could be a WWE Championship talent. I firmly stand by that statement I made a year ago.
Well said, Jeff. And over to you, Aaron. And we just had a troll Slade in the chat. What's up, Aaron?
Not too many of them tonight, but if they do show up, they are quickly dealt with. All right. So just to sum this up real quick, because I really got nothing else to say about it. No, they're not breaking up. I think they're going to be the one tag team that never breaks up. And as several people in the chat room pointed out, it was 2014 that they started, but if you hear Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods and Big E, they're all like, every team in wrestling is broken up. They want to be the one team that never breaks up. And I think that's how it's going to play out. in some form or fashion, New Day will always be around.
And I wouldn't have even made him a topic, Aaron, but they won the titles again. So that's
And
fine.
Kind of like Shawn Michaels
Filler.
will be the one
Filler.
guy that'll never
Yeah.
unretire. Yeah. Anyway.
You got some super chats?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that we'll move on from that topic. First one here from Psycho Jet Black says, Jeff, why is your son a fan of Baron Corbin?
He was a NXT Baron Corbin fan. The presentation, the biker music thing, the spotlight, the badass Baron Corbin. Once he became the whatever the hell, what was his title on Raw? The constable. Yeah. Nope. Done.
The Applebee's manager.
Oh God, yes. Oh, God. like I don't even know who his favorite is right now because he's not watching right now. So I don't know who his favorite is. But Kofi having the New Day be his act, Dylan was like, deuces, bye. And he went to Baron Corbin. So it's all Vince McMahon's fault. It's all the New Day's fault. There you go.
There you go. All right. And Sticky B sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. He says, as a student of Jim Cornette, I have to say he's crazy.
Oh yeah, he's crazy.
Yeah, he is very
He's
much
gimmick
so,
crazy. That's the difference.
Yeah, he's a crazy character for sure. And Mike D sent in a $5 super chat. Well, not really off topic because I know it was in our lineup of things to discuss. Mike D with a $5 super chat says, sorry it's off topic, but where the hell has Keith Lee been?
Segue.
All right, so we're going to talk about it now?
Yeah, we got a double main event. So I guess, when I pair these the two big topics for the show at the end, it doesn't matter what order they're in. So we'll start with, since you did the super chat there, this is one of them. What gives regarding not just Keith Lee, but Aleister Black, Andrade? There might be other people that I don't know, but those are the notables. That's the WWE way. I mean, Keith Lee, especially, because a lot of us thought, he was going to get pushed, and at least where Riddle is right now with the U.S. title. Aleister Black, that obviously we know what happened with Zelina Vega getting fired. Maybe that's done for a reason. And then Andrade, very talented. You'd think they'd put him with someone like they could speak for him, but Jerry Slaughter, I mean, what do you think here? Is this Vince McMahon just not liking certain characters and basically they end up off television? I mean, there could be deeper reasons, right? We don't know all the truths. What do you think?
Well, when it comes to Aleister Black, he just couldn't get into character, and that's why he switched him off of everything that worked for him in NXT. And that's what that's what you have to realize about all three of these competitors. All three of them were NXT champions, and they all had their fan bases. They had everything that was working for them, but the second they got moved up, everything was taken away. You had Aleister Black. He got his whole entrance, his whole aura, his whole mystique taken away. Keith Lee, God, they basically completely killed any momentum Keith Lee had. They took away his music. They took away, his ring entrance. They took away everything about him that made him Keith Lee and just turned him into just this nothing, really. And Andrade's in a really tough spot because he wants to leave. It looks like he wants to leave. He requested his release and everything. But Charlotte Flair is in such good favor with the McMahons and everything. Why would they even do anything with Andrade? They're just gonna have him sit there and wait out his contract just to be petty, just because he was trying to leave. And I'm not sure what they're gonna do with Keith Lee at this point. I was hoping they turn him heel, but they didn't, or just anything with him, anything at all. The guy's a monster. He's perfect in the ring. And a breath of fresh air, but they were not going to do anything. And Aleister Black, he's probably going to be just the same. He'll probably be sitting in catering until everything is all said and done. He even asked to be moved back down to NXT, which I think if they moved him back down to NXT right now and interjected him in the feud with Finn Balor and Karrion Kross, there's a triple threat match that I would just die to see. That would just be brilliant. But they're not going to do that, and I have no idea why.
Well said, Jerry. I mean, yeah, those are three talents, and they did thrive in NXT, and it's like, some wrestlers stay in NXT. Why can't some go back and bolster that up? And it doesn't matter if it's against Dynamite or not.
Fun fact real quick, Virtue. When we were in Toronto, Noah Foster actually approached Adam Cole when he was got to go meet him at the meet and greet and told him he hopes he never has to leave NXT, and Adam Cole said, I hope so too.
See, look at that.
Because Adam Cole knows where his bread is butter. He knows his crowd. He loves the crowd. And if he went up there, he would just be put into like stupid feuds.
And these are good examples for the people still in NXT to be like, look what happened to them. I'm not going anywhere. Yeah, well said. Jeff Meacham, is there a chance any three of these emerge on the main roster or even in NXT, or what's happening here? I mean, Keith Lee is the big notable here.
I can't remember if we talked about this when I was on the show last or if I did it on one of my thousands of feels like topics on my network anymore. But the problem with the NXT system is the NXT system. That's really what it comes down to. They get over like Rover down there at the Capital Wrestling Center, and then Vince brings them up because they have a buzz and he thinks he knows what he can do with them, and he has no idea what to do with those guys, and they just flounder there in the roster. Again, everybody in the chat room picks on Ricochet. I don't blame you guys because he's been pushed like crap, but Ricochet was not fodder for the trolls in the chat room until he got brought up after doing very well in NXT and then getting thrown halfway across Saudi Arabia by Brock Lesnar. That's really what happened in Ricochet's career.
It's because Ricochet never really talked in NXT either. He just went out there and handled business.
He didn't have to. That's the thing,
exactly.
Jerry. He didn't have to say a friggin' word. He did that dive over the top rope and stood there on his feet in front of
Velveteen Dream,
the Velveteen Dream, and he put the fear of God in the Dream. Nobody did that before that. Like Velveteen Dream was like off his game for the first time. It was awesome to see, and they pissed them both away. Granted, Dream pissed himself away, but whatever. But yeah, it's so frustrating to see Ricochet get called up and then get completely jobbed out. Aleister Black, he's in a tough spot. His wife got fired. That's never a good place to be. Andrade's in a really tough spot, honestly, because he wants to go, but his fiance is still one of the exactly. She's still one of the top stars in the division, so they don't want to, they don't want to irk her necessarily. But if he wants to go, she shouldn't be irked about it. So if that's the fear, it's a misplaced fear. So yeah, the bottom line is the problem with the people that want to go on the roster and just floundering is because the NXT system fails them once they graduate and get called up to the big time.
Jeff, Tito made a great point. Like, look at Rusev. He came up through NXT. I think he was one of Triple H's works. And look, I said, Vince McMahon failed him twice as the main event, right? The Tank, WrestleMania, Rusev Day. Yep. And then I've kind of like now seeing him open up with this behavior in AEW, and they're not even pushing him to the moon yet, if at all. Says, is this guy even capable of handling that kind of spot?
The thing with Miro Rusev is that, the thing of WrestleMania, he should have beat Cena. Now, granted, we did get the John Cena U.S. Open Challenge, which was not a bad thing at all for the title or for John, because he actually was, it was getting the work in, which is fine. But Rusev suffered so badly because of that. Of the three people in that feud, Lana, John Cena, and Rusev, Lana is the one that's over like Rover on TV right now. How in the hell did that happen?
She's the blonde and Vince McMahon's the booker. All right, I'm going to pass this on to Big G here because we still have we have a WWE Hall of Fame induction announcement. We definitely got to talk about. Big G.
Well,
this is
you
the whole
guys know through and through.
To talk about because how Shayna, at least she's a tag team champion, but she's not that dominant like she was down there. But at least she's on TV, unlike these three.
Yeah, like you guys know, me and especially Jerry, we were big NXT guys, especially when all three of them were down there.
Oh, yeah.
And I always thought, they brought up Keith Lee way too early. He should have kept the titles on him, or at least the NXT title, had some feuds down there, with Ciampa and Gargano. And then the Royal Rumble of this year, he should have been a surprise. Aleister Black, like Jeff said, he's in a tough spot because his wife got fired. And he's probably just sitting at home collecting a paycheck and not doing what he likes to do. I don't understand. They can send Finn Balor down to NXT, but they won't send down these other people down to NXT. It's crazy. These people want to do what they love, which is wrestle in front of fans, and they can't do that. Same with Andrade. I guess sleeping with the Flair ain't going to help you because you're, you're stuck.
Well, I was going to say, Big G, they need people on the main roster, but they're not even using them. So
No, they have too many people on the main roster. Vince brings these people up, like you said, like we said in the past. There's a buzz about them in NXT, and Vince sees that and uses them for like a month or two, and then they're gone. I mean, yeah, there's, like we've said before, there's people that are still up there that have a decent career. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, you know, even Corbin's doing something still. He's freaking King Corbin. You know, I'm thinking, you know, I think with Keith Lee, I don't know if he's hurt or what, or they just don't have anything for him to do. But, you know, after this match if Riddle has a match on Sunday at Fastlane, or, you know, he needs a match for WrestleMania, and Keith Lee would be the perfect person for him to have a match for the U.S. title at WrestleMania. Riddle versus Lee. Those two could pull off hell of a match. And
I've seen matches with them from Pro Wrestling Guerrilla and Progress.
And it's crazy. It's sad to see these guys not do what they love to do, which is wrestle. And he can't kind of the language barrier. That's why you had Zelina Vega, but then she gets fired, so he's off of TV. Why can't you put him with Charlotte Flair?
You know,
why?
I want to say it's, you know, they're not.
They do this other thing. They do all these other couples. They did Jimmy and Naomi. They did Seth and Becky. Why can't you do? Really, Charlotte Flair can't have her fiance with him on screen and help, you know, try to get him over with the fans because of his language barrier. It's like, if Vince is that damn petty, then they need to make an NXT Mexico or NXT, you know, Hispanic or something. That way these Latin stars can do what they love. But no,
Big G, Vince
became his ass.
He became a millionaire. He became a millionaire and a billionaire by doing what he wanted to with his wrestlers, taking them from territories. And he just doesn't think NXT develops main event stars. That's what it is. Honestly, you can't criticize a guy even and say he's out of touch if he's become a billionaire. He's selling his product of the past to networks for big money. And they just don't care if they're crappy today because he's selling his backlog library. Aaron, what do you want to add with this?
Well, you guys all made some great points. Let me read a couple of super chats here, and then I'll add my final thoughts. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. He says, "Imagine Vince taking control of NXT from Triple H."
Somebody time him out right now. Seriously, that's terrible. No, bad. Ooh, yeah.
I mean, the one good thing about NXT is that Vince doesn't really have a lot of involvement in it because he's busy doing his own thing.
I don't even think he watches the product.
That's his claw machine. He'll hear about some popularity and he'll just sink in, pluck person out.
What is from Toy Story? The claw.
Okay, Greg Cherry. If you're watching, that's the Greg Cherry brand shirt. NXT is Vince McMahon's claw machine. Make it happen, dude. Oh my God, that's brilliant. Damn it, Cherry, that's good shit.
Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat here. He says, "Is there anyone in NXT that could main event a WrestleMania? Like
right now?
In NXT right now? Karrion Kross, maybe?
I mean, Adam Cole's been there for a minute, to be honest with you.
Cross and like you, whatever you just mentioned, Adam Cole.
Adam Cole.
Yeah, thank you. And Kyle. And I'm thinking you could have Ciampa and Gargano main event in WrestleMania.
Well, yeah, but we've seen that 600 times already on WrestleMania weekend. So, like,
okay, how many times have we seen Orton and Cena?
I wonder what Tito's doing. Everybody say this right now. These guys main eventing. Oh my gosh.
As far as somebody who could potentially be like John Cena level, I think Karrion Kross is like the only good bet that they have. Maybe Rick Steiner's son, if he gets good. Maybe the Brock lookalike if he gets good. But the jury is still out on those guys. You know, they're just breaking in. Everything all right over there?
And hey, I agree with Tito again, Josh Mansfield. He just said it's a shame about Velveteen Dream. He could have been that guy. I said that he was another secret weapon in Vince's pocket that I think Vince could have pushed to the moon. Unfortunately, everything, all that stuff that's happened with Dream, it's just really backpedaled all that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can't.
I'll say a couple of things here real quick, and then we
Okay.
can move on. Three sayings. One is too many cooks in the kitchen. You've all heard that saying before. That's a problem with WWE. You have too
Like right now in this
people.
show. No.
Well, in WWE,
You're
it's
not
just
wrong, dude.
like times 10. You know, they have so many people under contract, and there's only so many spots. So ultimately, people are going to get pushed to the side. We all talk about Vince playing with his toys. He gets bored with somebody. If they don't get over in 2 weeks, he moves on to the next person. He has 100 other people that he wants to try out, and he wants to see if he can catch lightning in a bottle. There's another phrase. So I actually have 4. The other one, which was mentioned earlier, strike the iron when it's hot. We talked about examples of guys that could have been pushed really strong when they were hot. And there was a comment in the chat room about Aleister Black and Ricochet, how well they were doing as a tag team.
Yep.
Yet WWE broke them up right away. Why? And you have Keith Lee coming up to the main roster. He's got a badass theme song. You take away his theme song from him, like when somebody
put him in a baby thing, like babies wear to bed.
And you know, Rusev, Miro, we talked about him many times over the years. He was a topic of the NoDQ review. Rusev Day was hot, man, and they didn't go with it. They just let it slip away. And
imagine what Vince is gonna do when Karrion Kross comes up to the main roster.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing that
I don't
Kross
even
has
want to
going
think
for
about
him,
that.
the best thing Kross has going for him is
He'll take Scarlett away.
He looks like a star. He's got Scarlett, although I worry there's going to be the Mark Merrow effect, and Scarlett will end up being the star, and Karrion Kross will get.
Probably.
It's really funny that you say that. I don't know if Scarlett will take it away, because the difference is, and we all know how I feel about Mark Merrow after the first episode of Talk Wrestling, but Karrion Kross has the charisma and has the ability. When Mark Merrow was brought over, he was Johnny B. Bad, and he lost all his cool appeal. Like, he was just another high flying wrestler. And then when he got hurt and came back as Marvelous Mark, stupid right here. So just God, Karrion Kross is not Mark Merrow. He's way better off than Mark Merrow.
I think he could catch Vince McMahon's eye. We'll see. Obviously, nothing's happened really, as of late with that. But Aaron, are we ready to move on to the last topic here? Remember, we started a little bit late today, like 5 after. So.
Yeah. I mean, we're at 52 minutes. But yeah, the other thing is too, going on top of all that, just the basic idea, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. You call up these guys from NXT, and then you change what brought them to the dance. And we could say that about Ricochet. We could say that about a lot of these guys. Now, as far as the 3 of them go, Keith Lee, he posted something on Twitter today. I'm not sure if you guys all saw it or not. I'm sure at least a couple of you did, and some of the people in the chat room. He basically said that at some point he will tell people what's going on. Hopefully it's nothing serious. Hopefully he's not dealing with a serious medical problem, but that's his business. It's up to him what he wants to disclose to the public. Hopefully he's back soon. Hopefully he's healthy and doing well, and we'll just leave it at that. We don't know what's going on with Keith Lee. And as far as Aleister Black and Andrade go, I think Andrade's done. I don't think we're going to see him again. He's probably just going to be benched until his contract runs out or WWE decides to release him. And probably the same thing with Aleister Black, but I think Aleister might have a little bit more hope. However, I'm leaning towards it being unlikely that we see him again on WWE television. And I don't think either of them are going to go back to NXT, although you can never rule it out. But they're bringing in, remember, they just signed 20 people to developmental contracts. That's the problem. WWE, too many cooks in the kitchen, bringing in too many people, and people are going to get lost in the shuffle as a result. Now, Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says Randy Orton versus Shane McMahon in a stupid contest.
I get that reference. Good stuff. Good times.
There you go. All right.
I get that
ready
reference.
to move on.
All right. So our final, Jeff, I'm coming right to you on this one. He's back and he's better than ever. Got a knack for making things better. Face facts, because your opinion don't matter. This maniac is going to step on whomever. great on-screen character. All the bad things I've said about Bischoff, he called me out on his podcast of, the person Eric Bischoff, the businessman Eric Bischoff. I've always put him over as one of the greatest on-screen characters and villains and just cocky smartasses of all time. Congratulations, Eric Bischoff. You are in the WWE Hall of Fame. Take it away, Jeff Meacham.
I have said this ad nauseum over the last since I really launched my own network. Eric Bischoff's biggest problem when he was running WCW was not his lack of creative vision. Eric Bischoff's biggest problem was he walked into a room in August 1998 up at CNN and had 12 people in suits he'd never seen before saying, "Okay, Eric, here's how you're going to run WCW now." When they were cooking with gas and kicking ass for the most part in the ratings. Yeah, they had lost the 83-week streak, but they were still going neck and neck with Vince at that point. And he walked into a room and they're like, "Okay, we're going to run your company for you now." And that last year was just him trying to get anything through and being told, "Nope, can't do that. Nope, can't do that. Nope, can't do that." Granted, the NWO was ran into the ground. The NWO concept, even back before August 98, with the whole split with the Wolfpack. Again, stupid. But at its core, Eric Bischoff is the only booker, promoter, whatever you want to call him, to make Vince McMahon mildly sweat since 1982.
That's absolute
Period.
fact.
End of discussion. And if for no other reason, that's why he's a Hall of Famer. Because Jerry Jarrett couldn't do it more than once. He ended up in Vince's camp for a while because he couldn't beat him.
I mean,
Rocky
think about
couldn't do
this,
it.
Jeff. Think about this. Eric Bischoff made Goldberg popular. Bill Goldberg, Mr. Where's his talent at? Eric Bischoff got him to heights that you wouldn't think a guy like that could be in the wrestling business.
Yeah. Eric Bischoff's ideas. He got Goldberg over, which I should smack him for that. But he took a guy who had been already irrelevant going down in the last part of his WWF career and had been completely almost ball slung for 2 years in WCW and went, what if we do this? Hollywood Hogan is a thing. And
Now,
again, the freaking DVD says it best, the stars aligned because you had Hogan, is going to turn heel, and you had Scott and Kevin get signed. That's just freaking magic right there. Those happen at the same time. So
now, Jeff, I was going to ask you, who should induct Eric Bischoff into the Hall of Fame? I see a lot of people in the chat room asking about this. See, I thought they were going to have Bischoff induct the NWO, but now the Bischoff's going in.
Right.
I think it would be kind of cool if Bischoff inducted the NWO and then the NWO inducted Bischoff. They come back out and induct him.
Because then you're giving Hogan, Hall, Mash, and Waltman two times to talk. Bad idea. No. Live mic bad. No. No.
Right.
Honestly,
what's your idea?
I have said it for the last couple of weeks with Greg. Either Shawn Michaels or Triple H should induct the NWO because of the click tie. And I do agree that somebody big should induct Bischoff. I don't know if Vince is the guy, only because Vince is he inducts Stone Cold. Yes, he inducted the former president, whatever. He's going to induct the Undertaker. I have a very good feeling, unless Kane does it. I like Tito. I said Tito's suggestion this morning on my show because Eric inducted Dallas because Dusty couldn't. So I think DDP should induct Eric because Dusty.
Yep. Well said,
DDP,
Jeff Meacham.
Absolutely.
All right. Over to you, Jerry Slaughter. What do you think here on Eazy-E?
I'm thrilled that he's going into the Hall of Fame because I think he really does deserve it. I think Paul Heyman deserves in there too, but that's just my opinion, I guess, because he's been around for just as long, if anything, and he's been just about as big of a help to McMahon as anybody else. But I'm really excited to see what happens with Eric Bischoff going into the Hall of Fame. He does deserve it. He brought in, HLA and 3-minute warning and all those great things.
Master P.
And
you guys are cruel.
I like to answer your other question there for Jeff, who do you think should induct them? I think one of the people that hates him most in this world should, and that's Ric Flair. Ric Flair inducting Paul Eric Bischoff will be a roast, if anything else.
Yeah, they've made nice now, but I get what you're saying. Yeah. It's good stuff. Just
What if it's
funny,
Goldberg that inducts Jeff? What if it's Goldberg that inducts Eric?
I'll have to put it on mute till he's done.
That might be the shortest induction speech of all time, though.
They'll just say Bischoff's next.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Get him the hell off the stage. I am all about that. Good job, Jerry. Bravo.
Jerry, anything else you want to add before I pass it on to Big G?
That'd be it.
All right. Big G, I know you're happy to be here. What do you think about Eric Bischoff?
I mean, I talked about it with Jeff this morning on his show, and he deserves it. He's done a lot for the company. WCW, WWE. Who in the blue hell would have thought Eric Bischoff in WWE back in 2002? I sure as hell didn't. Like I said, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. That's what Vince did. And, that segment back in 2005, the courtroom with Cena and McMahon, that was very awesome. He brought the idea of the elimination chamber around. Jerry mentioned great things, Edge LA, 3-minute warning.
The elimination
NWO.
chamber.
Yep, the elimination chamber.
I don't
He's
believe
done
that
a
was
lot.
really his idea.
WCW
I know, but
Cruiserweights.
kayfabe it was.
Okay,
I'm serious about this. WCW Cruiserweight division, which had a huge impact, a long-lasting impact on the wrestling business today that really emulates that mostly now.
Especially in this country. Exactly.
And the stuff he did with Stone Cold was so funny, and I think Stone Cold should induct him. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Aaron
the man he fired with a FedEx letter. Yeah, that's gonna go well.
No, Jerry, though, Aaron and I and our two buddies were at the Raw where they were announcing that it was going to be Bischoff and Austin at No Way Out, and Bischoff being in that role is what brought Steve back, and that pop that Staples gave him, holy crap. The loudest pop I've ever heard Staples until the Kings won the cup. It was that loud in there. I still get goosebumps thinking about it. And Stone Cold's not a bad option either. Like I said, I feel it should be Dallas, but I don't know where Dallas is with the company right now because he's so entrenched with Cody and AEW. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if Jeff Meacham inducted him? I mean, it'd be the longest induction speech of all time.
Now, that's not true. Okay, you forget, Virtue. I've been to two of these things. I sat through Dwayne keeping us there for an extra hour and a half, inducting his father and grandfather after he put over the entire damn crowd and half the roster. It's like, oh my God, Dwayne, I want to go night-night. So, yeah, no, I'm better than that. I know better than that at Hall of Fame. You kidding me?
Thank you. Big G, anything else you want to add? And I'm going to pass it over to Aaron.
No, that's it.
Aaron.
Okay, well, first of all, Jeff, I feel like you pretty much have recited the whole Eric Bischoff excuses why WCW failed 101. The whole August 1998, the executives were telling me how to run my company.
I'm not saying he didn't have a part in it, okay? I granted everybody that, even earlier than August, they were starting to have the decline. But if you handcuff the executive in charge of the company when you've been telling him for 5 years, do what you need to do, the problem is the merger with Time Warner is what started the downhill slide. I will say that till I die. And I agree with Eric when he says that. So, you had people, and the problem is Eric is the only executive that was in charge of WCW that actually wanted to break even and make money. The entire Turner Corporation did not want that damn company on the books in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, it was not a well-run company. I mean, that's obvious, but they made a ton of bad creative decisions, and I think Eric Bischoff cracked under pressure. I think when DX started firing the shots and Bischoff came out on Nitro, when you could see the visible frustration in his face, and he challenged Vince to a pay-per-view match, I think that's when WCW lost. I think it was all over at that point. He cared more about beating Vince McMahon in the ratings than actually having a profitable company. I think that's the downright reality of the situation.
That's definitely a thing. When he's out there in the middle of the ring on that stupid motorcycle with his crown on, it's good to be the king. It's like, Eric, you're not the king, brother. You won this week. Congratulations. So, oh my God, Radical Romero, you are a sick, perverted person. Oh, yeah, goodness.
I will say this. Bischoff definitely deserves it. Maybe a one-trick pony, maybe a two-trick pony, but two amazing tricks. I'll say that. The NWO, he did get the idea from Japan, but it was one of the coolest things to ever happen in wrestling and one of the most influential groups of all time. He was a big part of that. And the Cruiserweight division, like Virtue said, we're still feeling the effects of the cruiserweight division today. It's pretty much the entire AEW show with a
The
few
U.S.
exceptions
title
here and
division was fun too. I mean, it had DDP, Hennig, Raven had it. Like, yeah, it was just good times.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
and
was a
he-
trivia question today on Wrestling Trivia Challenge. The only time the U.S. title main evented pay-per-view was World War III, and it's because it was DDP and Bret Hart in those roles. So,
Yeah. And Tom said it well here too. WCW would not have lasted as long as it did without him. You know, he was the one guy that was able to beat Vince. And whether it was luck, maybe some skill, maybe a combination of several things, he pulled it off, and nobody
Yeah, he
else
did.
can say that.
I mean,
There's
think about
never
where the
been a
company
moment where I haven't
was.
been entertained by Eric Bischoff.
Yeah, think about where the company was when Bill Watts pulled his stupid doing Bill Watts things. You know, they were in deep shit. Like they had no marquee talent except for Ric Flair and Sting, like they'd always had. You know, but they weren't growing talent. That's the thing. They weren't, and they never really were good at that. To give the naysayers credit. So, except for the cruiserweights when they would push everybody else. But I'm saying they never grew home down except for Bill Goldberg. But Eric found a way. Like I said, he's the only promoter in whatever it was 20-something years to make Vince even mildly have sweat on his brow, and that alone puts him in the Hall of Fame for me.
Yep. And now we got Tony Khan making Vince sweat.
Oh yeah. Vince is really sweating Tony
So,
Khan. Okay.
you know what time of the show this is here. We're going to go around and do our plugs, and by the time it gets back to Aaron, we might be on another 5 or 10 minutes.
Now,
We'll
minute.
see. Yes.
We did have a few super chats that I forgot about. Let me get to those.
See, it already started.
Father Adrian sent in a €2 super chat. He says, one of the best entrance songs ever is Eric Bischoff's.
I like
Yeah.
it.
I like it.
Catch it.
Yep.
I like his
great-
WCW theme too.
Is that a Jim Johnston theme song?
Yeah.
I was just
That's
going to say
why.
another solid track from Jim Johnston.
And what's
Dwayne
funny is when he
Atkinson.
first debuted, he came out to Back in Black by AC/DC, and they almost got sued.
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that. Dwayne Atkinson sent in $9.99. Thank you for that, Dwayne. Thank you guys for the super chats, everyone. He says, first controversy creates cash. Now it's created a Hall of Famer. Happy for Eazy-E. Now who's going to induct him and the NWO? Well, like we said, maybe DDP comes in. Maybe Bischoff inducts NWO. NWO inducts him. We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully it's not Goldberg, though, inducting Eric Bischoff. I don't think that would be a very good
Please stop
speech.
putting it out there.
Bischoff,
God.
you're next.
How about Scott Steiner? I'd be up for that.
You're fired, Aaron, from your own channel. Stop it.
Anything to get
Jesus.
Scott Steiner back on WWE TV.
Well, the
I'm
thing
all
is, though,
for.
Scott and Rick have trashed out the company so much it wouldn't happen anyway. So
All right, so it begins. Where is that comment? Now I can't
it's
find
right there
it.
at the bottom.
You may have lucked out. Okay, here it is. Okay, Psycho Jet Black with a $5 super chat says, Jeff, I remember you not liking Billy Kidman. Why don't you like him? And can you please unblock me from your channel so I can send you super chats?
I don't recall blocking you. I'll take care of that when we get off the air. As far as I never said, I don't remember shit on Billy Kidman. I don't remember ever doing that. Bill Goldberg, absolutely, but not Billy Kidman. I like Kidman just fine.
Okay, so
Hulk
Father
Hogan
Adrian,
didn't like Kidman, but just because he doesn't like him doesn't mean I'm not going to like him because I'm a Hulkamaniac. That's a little weird, but okay.
Father Adrian sent in a super chat. I cannot access it because it will not let me scroll that far back. So that's what happens when you guys send me off-topic super chats. After a while, I cannot access them. But he did have a comment about a Colorado hotel room. If you guys remember that promo with
that was a trivia question for Big G. Actually, is what that was.
Well, tell
what
Adrian just to send it as a regular chat that this was a super chat and we can still read it.
Well, no, because what he did was he asked Big G who said the quote. Let me see if I can find it. Hang on.
Oh,
What was the quote? It was
God darn
about
it, stupid phone.
I mean, it was Kobe Bryant in a hotel room, unstoppable, something like that.
Yeah, the person in question said, like Kobe Bryant in a Colorado hotel room, he's unstoppable. Who said that quote, Big G?
I don't know. I did.
He's just giving up early tonight.
Anybody know?
Virtue. Do you know who said it?
No.
Gary?
You guys disappoint me, man. Oh,
Abraham Washington.
Washington. Yeah, baby.
Oh, dude. Yeah, see,
Oh, now it comes back to me.
Yeah.
I remember it, but
Isn't that why he got fired? Because of that quote?
He was let go like a couple weeks after
so
that.
many reasons. So many.
Oh
And
my
boy, did that
God.
age well now that Kobe's gone, didn't it? That really ages well now, doesn't it?
You got any more super chats, or are we going to start our rounds here?
I think we're ready to start our rounds.
All right. So, Jerry, welcome back this week. It was great to have you on. I will start with you. You can go ahead and do your plugs.
I really don't have much to plug except for my Facebook group Armbar, all capital ARMBAR exclamation point, and there's also my Twitter page. Going to promote my friends here, Colin and Cleaver Andrew, the Simple Man Noah Foster, and Jen Zelaski at Jen Loves Wrestling, all great contributors, and check out their YouTube channels.
All right. Thank you for being on, my man. Over to you, Big G. You are happy to be here.
I'm always happy
needs
to be
to
here.
be
You
your
know
shirt.
that.
You need a new shirt that says that.
Jerry,
Big G is just happy to be here. NoDQ.com. There you go.
So yeah, NoDQ.com/BigBallaG takes you to my Twitter page, and on there you'll find my link to my YouTube channel for the Gridiron Grapple every Tuesday at 4 p.m. I might be changing that time slot. I'm not too sure yet, but that's where you can find me.
All right. Thank you, Big G. Now over to the long-winded Jeff Meacham.
Wait,
Aaron's trying to interject here.
yeah, before Jeff goes, Psycho Jet Black. Okay, Big G, let's see if you can get this one.
He couldn't wait.
Big G, have you drank milk, cookies, and taking 3 Viagra? Who said that line about drinking milk, eating cookies?
You
and
know what's
taking 3
funny? I
Viagra?
thought somebody was asking me that question.
No, it's a lie. Although he could be asking you that as well.
I don't know. It sounds like somebody from that Viagra on a pole match from
Okay,
WCW.
wait a minute. I'll help you. I'm going to drink a big
Is it Buff
glass of
Bagwell?
milk. No. Try to think who would say this kind of diss.
Listen.
I'm going to drink a big glass of milk. Take 3 Viagra.
Is that Kurt Angle?
Yes.
He was talking about Kurt Angle.
I knew that one.
Who said it?
Oh, who said it?
Yes.
Who was a
Stone
trash
Cold?
talker that would feud with The Rock around that time?
Stone Cold?
Aaron, you're a spaz. You
He
freaking
did-
Freudian
he-
slipped it, dude.
Yes, he did. It was The Rock.
The Rock and said, God, Aaron, you suck.
Aaron didn't even realize he gave the answer.
I didn't realize he did it. I know.
All right. So, Aaron, just hold on the Super Chats. Back to you, Jeff. Do your plug.
Very simple. Aaron's got the graphic to load up. I got a shit ton of stuff coming up on the Jeff Meacham Network. It's gonna be all through next week. Look, I'm doing all that. There it is. It starts.
Wow.
Tomorrow we're doing the Dads of Wrestling about movies featuring wrestlers. Then I've got the Big Gold stream, the pay-per-view stream. I'm gonna be busy. So JeffMeachamNetwork.com, YouTube.com/Jeff Meacham. Very simple. And if you're in SoCal on Saturday afternoon and you want to brave the COVID, RVD and Katie Forbes are gonna be in town, and that means Jeff Meacham's there too. There you go.
So basically, you just publicly admitted to braving the COVID.
I did.
Taking a risk
But
during
the
a
difference
pandemic
is-
to hang out with Rob Van Dam.
That's right. And look, because you know what? I'm going to smoke out so much I won't even feel the COVID. It's all good. So, kidding, people. I am not a medical expert. Don't even go there. Honestly.
Of course.
Honestly, when I come into this house, I have a full. I go in through the side door, and I have to decontaminate. So it's all good. I'll be okay.
All right.
It's all
Thank you,
good.
Jeff.
You hippie.
All right.
Over to you, Aaron.
Now let's get to Mike D's super chat, $5. He says, and thank you, Mike D. He says, do you guys think it's basically a lock that The Undertaker is inducted in 2020 Hall of Fame since it's in Texas and with a full crowd?
Yep.
Probably.
Yes.
I think that's a very realistic possibility.
Me and
Mike
Jeff talked
D.
about that this morning too with Lisa.
We did. Yeah. It's going to be Undertaker next year and The Rock the year after when they're out here.
That sounds about right. Like if I had to predict, I would go that route, I think.
And I still say celebrity inductee for 2023 should be David Arquette. I'm throwing it out there now. I'm going to keep throwing it out until they actually say it.
All right. In Zumasa We Trust with a $2 super chat says, thoughts on the new Justice League movie? I don't even know what that is. So
I haven't watched it yet. I'll give my thoughts later.
It makes me sleepy just thinking about watching it, dude. Like it's 4 hours long.
Right?
Yeah,
What is
I'm
that?
still.
Superman
I'm in the
movie?
first half of the movie still, so I got to finish it up.
It's the whole dude, Superman, Batman, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, all of them, Aaron.
So it's
Dude,
like
my
DC's version of the Avengers, basically.
Justice League was before the Avengers, if I'm not mistaken, like comic
Yeah.
book wise. Bye, Aaron.
It's the original director that was supposed to do the movie. They pulled him. They put a crappy version out at the theaters. Now he gets to come back, and he's putting everything in there. Since it's HBO Max, it's like a 4-hour movie.
Well, that's what happens when you ask non-wrestling questions on the No DQ review.
Yeah, the rest of the room knew what we were talking about.
What else we got, Aaron?
We are done, I think.
All
I
right.
think we're actually done here. So on
Yes.
that note, we will wrap it up. Thank you guys for tuning in. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest. If you want to chat about Justice League, follow all these guys. Don't follow me for that stuff because I will not be able to provide much insight when it comes to that stuff. Same thing with football. Like these guys, great sources
Aaron.
for football. Me, not so much.
Aaron, 21 years. Please don't ever change. Please don't ever change. I love you, dude. I really do.
I love you too, man.
Oh, man. God damn it.
Aw.
All right, over to me.
All right, yeah.
here we go.
wait,
Follow
whoa,
me.
Super chat. Super chat.
whoa. We got another super chat from Psycho Jet Black, and this might take a while. This might take another 20 minutes.
And there's another
Favorite-
one after it already.
Kevin Nash matches and moments. All right, so the career of Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash, a WWE Hall of Famer, a big man that influenced numerous wrestlers like the great Khali and Mark Henry and probably a couple of other people. Kevin Nash, Super Shredder, Oz.
He knows Ninja Turtles, but he doesn't know the freaking DCU or the MCU. That's tremendous.
Again, if it's related to wrestling, I know what it is. Like I know Karl Malone and Dennis Rodman.
Batista's in Guardians of the Galaxy.
I know sports guys when they're involved with wrestling.
Like, come on.
Anyways, so best Kevin Nash match in all seriousness, probably the Bret Hart match at Survivor Series 95.
Yep, I
And
agree with that.
Good Friends, Better Enemies with Shawn Michaels.
Agreed.
Nash had some good matches when he was in there with somebody who could carry him. Anybody else want to talk about the long, illustrious career of Kevin Nash? Go ahead.
The best Kevin Nash moment was punking out our old buddy in Sacramento. That was tremendous. Anyway, moving right along.
Nobody else has anything to say about Kevin Nash.
Nope.
Oh, I do.
Poke of Doom.
Earlier before I was about to say earlier before we went to air, I was watching just random clips on YouTube and came across the NWO's introduction into WWE. And I think it was like the No Way Out paper. No, was it No Way Out?
No Way Out 02, baby. Yep.
Yeah, like just that whole promo was just hilarious. And then I could actually go back to what I feared is one of Kevin Nash's last great matches. And that was him versus Triple H at Hell in a Cell. It's like one of those Hell in a Cell matches.
That was
It's kind of
pretty good
underlooked, underappreciated, in my opinion. So.
For as messed up as Kevin's knees were by then, it was actually a pretty good match.
All right. Got a couple more here. Thankfully, they're short ones, so we won't have to go 20 minutes more. SSBS Fanboy with a $2 super chat says, book me versus Jeff in a trivia match. I don't do the trivia anymore. That's Greg's department. So, Greg, if you want to book this match, I say go for it because SSBS Fanboy thinks he can handle some of Jeff Meacham.
I'm retired. You're going to take more than $2 to get me out of retirement there, buddy.
Oh, all right then. I think Virtue is pretty much checked out of this.
I'm still here.
Virtue's done.
I just want you to look at that goofy picture with my cross eye there. I did that on purpose.
Virtue's rage.
That's my insane psycho look.
That's
All right,
it.
Aaron, what other super chats we got?
All right, Josh Mansfield just says $2. Love you all crazies. We love you too, Josh.
Aw.
Thank you for tuning in and being a loyal viewer of the channel. We very
And
much
thanks for being
appreciate
on
it.
our show last Sunday.
Yes, good job. Thank you.
Hopefully, we'll all get to hang out one of these days once this finally ends. See, I'm not going anywhere. I don't leave my place until I get my shot, and even then, I'm being careful. Jeff,
I'm already qualified for my shot, so I'm just waiting on it to happen. Like I had the appointment set
Aaron,
up. So.
that's
Yeah,
got
Jeff's
Aaron, that's
gonna
gotta be
do-
torture for you because you walked everywhere in Canada.
Jeff's going to do herd
Right.
immunity.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
All right,
Jesus.
is it my turn now?
no, it
I
is
don't know.
not.
Nope.
Oh, my God.
Father Adrian sent to the €5 super chat. Okay, here we go. Big G. Who said this? If a man has enough power, he could speak softly and everyone will listen.
I don't care. This is so it's irrelevant.
Jake
Ooh.
Roberts?
That sounds right, but I'm not sure. Jeff, you seem to think that's correct.
Pretty sure that was Jake Roberts.
Yes.
And it's not.
Was it
and it's
the
not-
WrestleMania 3 promo?
Yep.
Or the WrestleMania 5-6 promo or something like that?
I think it was WrestleMania 3 build-up with Honky, but I could be wrong there.
All right, we're done. Virtue.
All right.
Let's go ahead and
All
wrap
right.
it up. You better hurry.
Twitter at NoDQ_Virtue. Facebook, NoDQ.com/Virtue. And of course, go to NoDQ.com/merch and get the Troll Slayer, the Debate King, and all the other great NoDQ personality and NoDQ merch. For Jerry Slaughter, for Big Baller G, for the West Coast Professor, Jeff Meacham, and for Aaron Rift, I am Virtue. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Later.